This is CBS.
A suspected rapist is behind bars. We'll talk with a woman who is getting over the scars of being one of his alleged victims. In Oklahoma City, 5 women are dead, police looking for their killer. And some local filmmakers turn educational films into a search for crustaceans and barnacles. And a thunderstorm rumbles through our area. Good evening. I'm Brent Hunsaker. Stick around, Kansas City. Your news is next.
You're watching KCTV, Kansas City's television.
A suspected serial rapist is behind bars following a phone tip that ended a year-long investigation. 30-year-old Frederick Russell is now charged with attacking 2 women. What's more, police suspect that Russell may have raped as many as 15 others. Now, for those victims, it is a consolation that a suspect is finally behind bars. But as KCTV's Jerry Gosa reports, the fear is far from over.
Police believe 30-year-old Frederick Russell raped as many as 17 women during the last year. He's charged with 2 of those rapes, and prosecutors are looking at filing charges in at least 10 other cases. Police say that the pattern of rapes began to emerge last May. Many of the women were attacked as they walked home from a bus stop.
I was almost home, and he was like a couple of feet away from me.
One victim remembers the incident well. We'll call her Crystal.
Something told me to walk faster, but I just happened to turn around, and there he was, and I didn't think anything of it. And by that time, he was behind me, and he had his arm around my neck and a knife in my mouth.
Her attacker nearly severed her finger as she tried to fight him off.
All he said was, "Be quiet, be quiet."
Crystal handed over the money she was carrying, $15, in hopes her attacker would stop. But on February 27th, the unimaginable happened.
She had blood all over and everything, and I just freaked out, you know, when I saw her. And then I dialed 911. And
then came the police, the questions, the doctors, and the wait.
We arrived at the hospital at 10 o'clock, and they put my daughter in a examining room, you know, one of the examining rooms, and she laid there until 5 in the morning.
Crystal was told rape is not a medical priority.
When we left out of there, she was the last patient, 5 o'clock in the morning.
The morning came and went. The sun rose and set, but the fear has never gone away. At first, Crystal refused to leave her house and wondered whether a stranger on the street was the man who brutally attacked her. Then came the call from police.
As soon as she told me, I was really relieved that he was behind bars.
Most of the scars are gone now, even the emotional ones.
Because I've had support from my mother and my boyfriend, so I'm doing all right.
Jerry Gosa, KCTV News.
Lawmen in Wyandotte County continue their search for 2 prisoners who escaped Wednesday night. 3 others who also escaped have already been recaptured. The ones still on the loose are 26-year-old Gerald Mose and 29-year-old Johnny Austin. Police and sheriff's deputies used specially trained dogs today in a wooded area in Kansas City, Kansas, to search for the missing men, but didn't find them. Last night, authorities arrested one escapee following a 6.5-hour standoff with police. A 27-year-old Belton man is Kansas City's latest murder victim. Police say someone shot him around the 1800 block of East 89th Terrace and then moved his body to 75th and Troost. Police have few clues to go on tonight as to who murdered the man and why. This fire came from a crash and an explosion on I-70 and 435. It claimed the life of a 43-year-old Illinois woman who was a truck driver. A car collided with her semi-truck early this morning. She was hauling barrels of hexane, a hazardous and highly flammable chemical. Toxic smoke from the fire forced the evacuation of a nearby mobile home park and motel. The driver of the car was only slightly injured. A high-speed chase claimed the life of someone who had nothing to do with it other than they got in the way. Early this morning, a Johnson County Sheriff's deputy was after a car that had struck a tree near 151st and Highway 69. That chase went into Miami County, where the fleeing car rammed into another car that was stopped alongside of the road. A person inside that car died. 3 others were injured. A Kansas City man is lucky to be alive following a bizarre accident in Michigan. William Lunt was driving to Lansing when a wrong turn last night led him off an unfinished overpass. You see, a construction worker had forgotten to put up the road barricades that diverted traffic. Well, Lunt's car fell, landing upside down, but he got away with only minor injuries. He says it's his first accident in nearly 60 years of driving. Well, coming up a little later in this newscast, some local filmmakers go fishing for something much more than your typical educational film. And next, in Oklahoma, 5 women found dead and a killer on the loose.
This is your news, Kansas City. With Brent Hudson.